Hello students, can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So students, let's wait until your friends are joining and let's do the cost volume profit analysis of trade Cushy. Students, shall we start? I think 7 are there. Okay. So students, now before we do the analysis of the cost volume profit, the first thing we need to understand is the additional information. So in the additional information, when you are thinking as a management accountant, the first thing you need to think is the average selling price and average cost of sales per pair are the average across all designs in each product ranges. So students get that point, whatever they are saying. So the calculation is on average basis. So the first, business policy. So if you do not mind, let's write down here as business policy. So students, the first business policy here is all the prices are on average basis. Are on what basis? Average basis. Are on average basis. Students, are you getting that point there, students? Yes or no? If you are getting that point, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? All the prices are on average basis. That means they are not calculating anything to specific products. They are going through all on an average basis. So the performance shoes, there are three distinct ranges: basic, regular, and elite. Now, students, before we go into that detailed analysis, as a management accountant, you need to know your product ranges. So students, if you do not mind, can we write down here as product ranges? Product ranges. So students, these are the product ranges that we generally need to understand. So I will work with you students. So if you observe students, one product range we generally have is the casual shoes. I believe that is very clear for you. Casual shoes is one product range. Students, do you agree on that, students? Yes or no? Casual shoes. Casual shoes. So the next thing is, if you see casual shoes, there are subdivisions. What are the subdivisions of casual shoes? One subdivision, and there is another subdivision as well. So I will do like this. Casual shoes, there are two subdivisions. So one subdivision of casual shoe is, it is made out of wool. I can specifically say it is made out of what, students? It's made out of wool. I will write down here, made out of wool. And the other subdivision is, students, it is made out of wood. Actually, it is made out of wood. So students, get this application very clearly, because as a management accountant, you need to know which product range is profitable or not profitable. So get this application clear as much as possible, students. So any questions you have on the casual shoe range products, you can ask me. If you are fine with that, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with the casual shoe ranges, you can please put a Y in the chat box. And then students, we have the other one, that is the performance shoes. So one is casual shoes and the other one is what, students? It is the performance shoes. So students, coming into the performance shoes, it's not so complicated, students. It is very simple and it is very easier to understand as well. So if you observe the performance shoes, it has the following ranges. One ranges is, it is a hill variant. That means you can use that shoe to climb the mountains. Okay, hill ranges, hiking, everything is generally going through this area. And then students, after the performance range, then you have something called the flat range. Flat range is, students, like for sprinting, running shoes. Those are like, if you see, flat ranges. Example, like the athletic shoes on running areas. Now hill ranges are a little bit strong. I think, students, can you remember in India there is a shoe company called Woodlands? Students, can you remember there is a company called Woodlands? Can I get a double Y in the chat box if you are aware about a product called Woodlands? get that understanding, students. Woodland is a classic example how they took over the market by differentiating their product. Now, students, coming down the performance shoes, there is a 3 distinct range. So students, now if you see, we have hill range, everything, but out of this entire performance range is broken down into 3 segments. So students, what I will do is I will write down here the 3 segments. So one thing what I can specifically say is the basic. They have the basic. Then the second one is just going to be what, students? Second one is going to be the regular. And the third one is going to be the elite. So these are the 3 basic ranges that is there, students. So any questions you have in this, you can ask me, students. But these are the basic idea of the 3 ranges. So I believe this gives you a better understanding and a clear application here, students. So students, get this point of view before you go into the situation, because it is very, 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 very important that you understand the product ranges as much as possible, because there will be a question on something called sales mix variance. Students, again, I am writing here, there is something called sales mix variance, and then students, there is something called sales volume variance. Students, if you do not mind, can you please use this? Because again, I'm telling you, students, you would never wait for me, because nowadays internet is dominating the entire world. You can easily get the knowledge. Whenever you need application, please contact me directly or through the WhatsApp group. My preference is WhatsApp group should become like a discussion hub. So students, any other questions you have in this, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with this, students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with this, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. It looks very clear and concise as well. So I believe it is good and excellent. So students, now what we need to do next is, before we go into the standard costing and everything, we should remember the policies as much as possible. The policies plays a major role before we evaluate the numbers, because policies will differ company wise. So do you agree with me, students? Policies will always differ company wise. So students, if you do not mind, what I can specifically start with, students, is the policies. Standards are reviewed and updated annually for any known changes. So students, standards are reviewed and updated annually. So if you do not mind, students, can I get a Y in the chat box? In the exam day, there will be a situation. So exam day, one question will come for sure. Updation. So students, can we write down here, students, exam question, because you can predict it, students. Operational level case study is generally a predictable examination. So I will write down here for your understanding, students. I'll just write down here exam day. I will just mention here the standards can be reviewed. The standards can be what, students? The standards can be reviewed. The standards can be reviewed. The standards can be reviewed. Students, if you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Yes or no? Yes, excellent, perfect, perfect, perfect. So normal raw material losses are included in the standard cost of each product. So get that understanding very clearly, students. Normal raw material losses are included in the standard cost of each product. So that is the basic understanding that you need to keep in mind, students. Raw material losses are included on standard cost of each product. Now, students, raw material loss. Now, example, I will write down here, raw material loss. Students, now, if you see wool, now, do you think 100% of the wool can be utilized? I don't think so, students. There can be waste trap, because students, just see students, if you see a tailoring business, they won't use 100% of the fabric, because some fabric will not be consumed also. So are you getting that point of view there, students? Yes or no? If you are getting that point of view there, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? If you are getting that point of view there, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. All direct labor overtime premium is treated as a variable production overhead. Idle time is not budgeted for. So students, I will write down here one more thing, students. direct labor, overtime premium, direct labor, what students, overtime, what students, premium, direct labor, overtime premium is generally treated as what students, variable production overhead, variable production, what students, overhead. Get that application very clearly. And students, the next thing is idle time. Idle time is not updated, is not updated. Idle time is not what students, updated. Idle time is not updated. Idle time is not updated. Idle time is not updated. So students, if you are fine with that, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? I believe that is clear for you. So it is easy and understandable from your point of view. So the next thing is, students, production overhead. Production overheads are allocated and apportioned to cost centers and absorbed based either direct labor hours or machine hours. So students, ABC, there is something called ABC. Students, have you heard activity-based costing? Activity-based costing. There is an area called activity-based costing. So in this case, students, if you observe, the activity-based costing is not used. They are generally using the traditional OAR method. What is that, students? Traditional OAR method there. So you need to be very careful when you are doing the application, students, because they are very specific on the labor hours and the machine hours rather than specific activities. Rather than what, students? Specific activities which they need to be keeping in mind. There are 4 production overhead cost centers, that is weaving, molding, cutting, stitching, and lasting and finishing. So students, if you do not mind, can we write down that, students? Yeah, so it will be very easier for you so that you can use these terminologies when you are doing a costing analysis. So generally there is a section called weaving section. I believe that is very clear for the classroom. Then students, there is another section called the molding section. What section, students? The molding section. Even that is very clear for you. And after the molding section, students, then they have another section, that is the cutting and stitching section. Cutting and what, students? Stitching section. Cutting and stitching section. Even that is also fine. And then students, after cutting and the stitching section, they have the lasting and the finishing section. Lasting and the finishing section. So students, get this point of view very, very clearly, that these things are very, very important. WMCL. WMCL. So WM means world M. Okay, something like that. You can think about that, students. WMCL. So keep in mind, that is the terms that you need to keep. So before moving into that, each production cost center has its own variable and production overhead absorption rate. So budgeted selling price includes allowance for planned discounts and promotion. So students, selling price is already including for discounts and promotion. So students, I will write down here selling price, selling price, selling price, selling price, selling price includes, selling price includes, selling price includes discount, 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 and promotion. Selling price includes discount and what, students? Promotions. I believe that is a clear point of view there, students. If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. It's a great way of thinking. So one thing, students, that is missing here, I will just write down the missing points here. So can we do a small discussion? What are the missing points here? One missing point I can say is they have missed out what, students? Inflation. Students, do you think there can be inflation, students? Yes or no? Example, students, labor hike. Students, can I ask you a question? Can the laborers ask for more money? Can there be a situation where the laborers are asking for more salary, students? Is there a possibility? Yes or no, students? High level chances, there is high possibility, students, that they have not considered here. What about machine breakdown, students? Can there be a situation of a machine breakdown? Possibility there or not there, students? Yes or no? 100% chances are there, students, machine breakdown can take place. Can there be power supply issues, students? What do you think, students? Can there be an issue of power supply? Possible or not possible, students? Yes or no? High level chances are there, students, which they have not considered here. And students, can there be an issue of exchange rate fluctuation? Exchange rate fluctuation affecting the prices of the raw material. What do you think, students? Yes or no? Can the exchange rate fluctuation affect the price of the raw material, affect the price of the raw material? Possible or not possible there, students? Yes or no? Just asking from you, from your point of view. Can there be an exchange rate fluctuation that affects the price of raw material? I think so. There is high chances. Thank you very much, students. Students like this, can you tell me some other point of view? Now, I am only telling you. You must think. Now, tell me, students, if you are a factory accountant, can you tell me next things, that ever the things? What about pandemic, students? Can there be a situation of a pandemic? Possible or not possible? Now, students, can there be a situation of a pandemic? I'm not telling you to memorize. I want you to think. Now, pandemic will definitely affect the supply chain management. Can there be a situation of supply chain issues? Can you remember, students, in the Suez Canal, there was a ship getting affected. You can just check and see Suez Canal ship. It was blocking the entire sea route, students. So generally, yes, it was a Chinese ship, if I'm not mistaken. Generally, it affected the entire world supply chain management, students. So students, I believe this is giving you a better idea here on thinking aspect. So before moving forward, students, any questions you have on the company policies, please feel free to ask me, students. Any company you have on the issues on the company policies, please feel free to ask, students. Any issues you have on the company policies, you can please feel free to ask, students. If you are fine with that, students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box so that we can move forward with more application required as required? Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Missed out. What did you miss out, students? Okay, so I believe these are fine for you. So get this understanding as much as possible. Our product ranges are important. Students, now can I ask you one question? Can there be a new product development? Can there be a new product development? Can I just make it little more outside the box, students? Can there be a situation? Now we did the product range analysis, but can there be a situation of a new product development? Yes or no, students? Students, there is one thing I want to ask you later, but before asking that later, I will just write it down for your understanding and the application here, so that you will be able to do the application even more easier. So do you have a situation of new product development? New product development. Of course, there is a possibility of a new product development. So students, can you please tell me the new product development, what you can think about, students? If you do not mind, can you tell me about a new product development? Now they have the casual shoes and the performance shoes at the moment, but can you tell me any other shoes? Can they go on to specific sports shoes? Specific sports, example like cricket shoes, like that. I think Nike did that, students. Can you remember Nike had Nike bat, if I'm not mistaken? Can you remember? It was not successful. Can you remember earlier Virat Kohli was using a Nike bat? Can you remember that time, students? I don't think you are aware about that. If you are aware about that, you can put a Y. If you are not aware about that, you can check and see, students. Virat Kohli was using a Nike bag, students. There was a time, students. And there was an issue, time, soccer, football shoes, they can go. And there was a time Adidas also was promoting cricket bats. Sachin Tendulkar once upon a time was using Adidas cricket bat, but it didn't work out, students, because we can remember Sachin Tendulkar as a cricketer with MRF only. Whatever the bat he uses, in our eyes, he is remaining with MRF. So just remember these things, students. It gives you a better clarity and thing. Students, before I move on to the discussion part, spike shoes, so many things. I want to ask one question to the entire classroom, students. Can you tell me, students, what is the difference between arts and science? What is the difference between arts and science, students? We have BA and BSc. BSc means Bachelor of Science, they say. BA means Bachelor of Arts. So students, what do you think the difference between arts and science? What is the difference between arts and science, students? What is the difference between arts and science? I'm waiting for your response, students. What is the difference between arts and science? Students, good question. I want your answers from your side. What is the difference between arts and science?
Sir, in arts we can say we have a skills, and sir, in science we have an experiments of that.
Good,
Or
very
we can
good,
say a research.
very good. Now, if you see, art does not have any rules, does not have any rules. Example, if you see, students, a movie is a art. You don't have any rule. You can take a movie whatever you like. But if you see science, like he was saying, there needs to be research, there needs to be theory developed, there needs to be proven things. So students, if you see, management accounting is a combination of an art and a science. Students, you do not have any limit as well, and you can prove it logically. Are you getting that point of view, students? So students, I believe the first session of our 20 minutes has been extremely productive. So can we go for a 5 minutes break? And can we come to the costing analysis, students? Thank you very much, students.
Hey, Bhumi. Hey, Bhumi. Happy birthday, Bhumi.
Okay, students, so I'm back to the class. Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box if you're fine with that, students? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. So now, students, let's come to the evaluation of these tables. So we can get data, we can extract data. Now I'm going to teach you how data can be extracted, students. It's a very basic mathematics only, and it's just the mathematics of changing the numbers forward and upwards. So the first thing is, students, if you see the gross profit they have given. So if you see 54, 56, 59, and 54, now a basic accountant will say, okay, 59 gives you the highest gross profit margin. So let's consider 59 and move forward. So are you getting that application there, students? Yes or no? If you are getting that application there, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are getting that application there, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Excellent. Excellent there. So students, now I'll just write down here. The first table we are going to do is gross profit. And I'll write down here sales analysis, gross profit and sales analysis. So the basic application here, what I'm going to say is a management accountant would generally be able to make a decision on the detailed aspect. But in this case, a basic accountant would always suggest 59%, that is performance flat shoe is the best product. Is the best product. Students, are you getting that basic analysis? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Because that basic analysis plays a major role here. If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. So now what I will do is, students, I will start preparing a small table, and I will start explaining how that table will be modified and connected. How the table will be modified and connected. So let's work on this, students. It's not so complicated. So you can take it if you like, but anyway, I will share it in our portal. But whatever you like, you write down, students. Listening is only, I can say, 30% retention. But writing, listening, connecting your sensors of your body will give you more retentions. So what I will do is I'll write down here details. And here I will mention as casual. And here I will mention as performance, casual and performance. Now, students, here what I can do is wool. Here it can be wood. Here it can be hill. Here it can be flat. So students, don't take it down, just get the application properly, how I am connecting this. So the first thing, if you observe here, is revenue. So if you see, students, of the total revenue, now let's assume total revenue is 100%. Okay, total revenue of this business is 100%. Let's do a small number crunching. 29,580 out of 73,840 multiplied by 100. Students, can you please tell me what is the overall revenue that wool is contributing? Can you please take your calculator and can you please do the working? And can you please do let me know what is the percentage of revenue wool is contributing? What is the percentage of revenue wool is contributing? Please take your own time, students. Please take your own time and please do let me know what is the percentage of revenue wool is contributing. This is critically important at the moment. I'm waiting for your answers, students. If you do not mind,
Sir, 40 point.
correct. It's somewhere
40
around
point.
40%. I'll go with
Yes.
40%. Excellent. Thank you very much. I'll go with 40%. So similarly, students, can we start doing the calculation for the wool company as well? So that your mind will be connected with me. I just do and go. It will be less productive, but when you get involved, it will be even more productive. So children, waiting for your answers. Children, waiting for your answers. Little faster. I don't want a correct answer. Anything that you feel correct, you can give it to me.
22.56.
22.56, 22.56. So I can make it as 23%. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you very much, students, for your chats as well. I'm getting the correct answer. So let's do it for the next one. Can you please tell me?
13.32.
So I'll go with 13%. The next one, that is the flat. I feel I will directly wait for your answers. Can you tell me? So it should be 24%, the balancing figure. Can I get a Y in the chat box if it is 24% from your side?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Let's do for the cost of sales. So again, I'll go with the total as 100%. So in the cost of sales, if you observe 13,683, you need to divide it by 33,636 and multiply it by 100. So let's get the answer, students. I'm waiting for your answer for the cost of sales contribution. Students, how much is the cost of sales in this segment generating, students? How much is the cost of sales effectively contributing overall of the organization? Overall of the organization, what do you think, students?
Sir, 40.67.
Excellent. So I will go with 41%. Thank you very much. Then the next one is, let's do the working there. It's not difficult. 8,297 divided by 33,636 multiplied by 100. So we can get the answer for the next one as well. I believe that's 25%. Excellent. 24.66.
24.66.
Excellent. 25%. Perfect, students. So let's do it for the next one. Are you getting 12.92? Yeah, it's 13%. And let's go for the final one as well. Final one as a balancing figure. So I can take it as 22%, same calculation. So it's 22%, I believe. Can I get a yes if it is correct of 22%? Yeah, 21.73. Thank you very much. It's a correct answer. Excellent. Very good. So children, let's go for the next one. That is the gross profit. Next one is going to be what, students? The gross profit. So the gross profit 15,897 divided by 40,204 into 100. So I can give you the answer, but it will be great if you can give the contribution point of view. What do you think, students, there? What is the percentage of contribution from wool?
39.54.
39.549.
Excellent. Let's do it for the next one as well. That is 8,363 divided by 40,204 into 100. So if you do not mind, students, can you do the calculations and can you please let me know what is the answer? The
So
correct
20
answer
20.581.
20.8, right? So I will go with that 20.8, so 21. Can we do the next one as well? 5,494, 40,204 multiplied by 100. So effectively, what should be the answer? 13.66, correct. So I can go ahead with 14%. That is done. And the next one, students, when you compare, that is going to give you, for the flat, it's going to give you how much? 26%, if I'm not mistaken. Just correct me if my calculations are incorrect. So effectively, it's 100%. So students, I'm waiting for your response now. If you are fine with all these, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? And then let's do a justification analysis. We can do a justification analysis when you are fine with the students.
Sir, the gross profit for the flat one is 25%.
25%, okay, thank you. Excellent. Now, students, as per the basic reading, we were saying flat shoes are the best shoes. Agree, no, students, as per the basic reading. But now what you can say, students, what is your observation? Which is better in the point of the total contribution? Which do you think better, students, if you don't mind, of the total contribution? Let's do the justification, students. If you do not mind, can you tell me which should be the best? Waiting for your response, students. Which should be the best? Casual wool, excellent.
Yes, sir,
Casual
casual.
wool generally sells more and contributes more to the business. I believe that is extremely clear for the class. Casual wool generally sells more and contributes more to the business. And I believe that is extremely clear for the class as well. And their cost of sales also we can consider that is as well. So if you consider in more, that is the next thing is flat shoes, even though their margins are high, their contribution is a little less, even if you see heel shoes. So heel shoe, anyway, demographically, students, only the climbers will buy heel shoe. Not everyone will buy heel shoe. But even if you see flat shoes, even the people who are interested in the fitness only will go for the flat shoe. But casual shoes, if you generally see, which is made out of wool, will be the majority preference because of comfort. So I will write down here, students, because of comfort. Because of what, students? Because of comfort. Are you getting this application, students? Yes or no? Are you clear with this application? Is it fine or not fine, students? Yes or no? Agree or not agree, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Any other questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students. Overall, if you are fine with this explanation, I believe this has given a better understanding. So whatever said and done, students, our cash cow. Students, cash cow is the product which generally provides more of the volume to a business. So I can specifically say our cash cow is casual wool shoe. So one more problem we have is, if you generally see, we developed our company by providing athletic shoes. So do you think, students, our casual shoes have become more productive at the moment? What do you think, students? Yes or no? Does it make sense for you, students? Students, I'm waiting for your response. Does it make sense for you? And students, if you observe the next thing, that the heel shoes, if you observe, I feel that is the shoes which is having the lowest range, if I'm not mistaken. So I can generally say this is a niche segment. This is a niche segment, but the rest of the two products are okay, the casual wood and the flat, but the heel is a niche segment. I'll write down the term here, students. Niche. Niche means, students, it is very much focused oriented, focused and target oriented, students. Before moving forward, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with this application here, it is much into focused and target orientation. Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box if it is focused and target orientation? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. So I believe it is extremely clear for you on the understanding perspective. So thank you very much, students, on that point of view. So students, the next thing what we can do is we can continue with the application. So what we can do is, students, we need to go to the volumes, if I'm not mistaken. If you see, students, we have the budgeted sales volume that they have given. So even if you observe, let's do a volume based analysis. So students, let's go for a volume based analysis. So I will write down here, students, volume based analysis. So it will give you a more understanding of how the volume base will give you an understanding. So you need to write these things in your, I can say, a small short notebook or something like that. So it will be very clear for you. So volume based analysis, students. So let's do the discussion of that in detail. So once again, students, let's continue with the application first. So the first thing is we need to understand we have a range of casual shoes. So I'll write down here, students, casual shoes. Then students, the next thing we have is the performance shoes. So what I will do is I will merge this here and I'll write down here as performance shoes, even that is also sorted. Then what we have is the total range. So I will write down here the total range, and here we have the details as well. So here I will write down here as the details as well. So students, what I will do generally is I'll put here wool, I will put here wood, I will put here hill, and I will put here flat. So these are the basic aspects in this case. So students, if you do not mind, can you write it down? So if you see, let's assume here the total volume based contribution is 100%. So how do we calculate it for wool? It's very simple. 348,000 divided by the total, that is 774,000, multiplied by 100%. So children, if you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the effective range of contribution in volume by this pair of shoe, which is wool? If you do not mind, can you please let me know what is the correct pair of shoes flies? Can you please tell me, students? What should be the pair of shoe range? Very, very important, students. Very, very important. So it is 45%. Agreed. Concurrent. Thank you very much. 45%. So can we do the analysis for the wood also? So 196,000 divided by the 744,000 into 100. So let's complete it, students, step by step. So students, if you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the analysis, students? If you do not mind, what is the analysis? If you do not,
25.3.
25%. Thank you very much. 25%. So can we do it for the hill as well? So hill is going to be 11%, flat is going to be 19%. So I'll give you some time. You can just double check that whether it is correct or not correct. So you will get the application of this very much clearly. You will get the application of this very much clearly. Students waiting for your application.
काय की एप्लीकेशन अब क्या हो गया?
Okay, students, thank you very much. I believe this is okay. So if you see, there's an application. This wool product is cheaper. How many of you all can feel that? It's $85. But if you see here, the ranges are at 120. Do you see here, students, the price is playing a major role? What do you think here, students? Yes or no? The price range plays a major role. Can you agree on that, students? Yes or no? Because when the prices are going up, I don't think people may buy the product. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'll write down here as a discussion point. The price ranges are generally high. The price ranges are generally high for performance shoes. For performance shoes, which is making the sales volume less. This is making the sales volume, what, students? Sales volume less. Do you agree with me? Of course. But in the case of shoes, in the case of casual shoes, $85, which is a lower range, where the market is more satisfied. Because, students, price always plays a major role. Now, can I ask you a basic question? You go to a showroom, example like Bata. Now, if you see, Bata also sells their sister product called Hush Puppy. Agree, no, students? Yes or no? You find the Hush Puppy product in Bata only. Now, can I ask you the same question from you, students? Which product is expensive, Hush Puppy or Bata? What do you think, students? I think Hush Puppy is more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. So why it is expensive? Value creation. They have made it little more durable, a little more comfortable. The thickness is very high compared to a Bata shoe. The genuine leather application plays a major role there. So are you getting that application based orientation there, students? So the Hush Puppies generally plays a major role there. So before moving forward, students, any questions you like to share, you can let me know. If it is clear for you, students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? If it is clear for you, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. So get the application properly. So marketing plays a major role. Digital marketing all plays a major role. So we need to get the analytics extremely clear before we go into the aspects of thinking. So get the point of view, students. The price ranges must never be forgotten, because if you do not mind, it's 85 and the other one is 120. So students, if you do not mind, what is the difference in percentage? 120 minus 85 divided by 85. Students, can you please tell me and multiply that by 100? 120 divided by minus 85 divided by 100. So students, can you quickly tell me what is the valuation of this? That should give you how much, students, if you do not mind? Can you quickly tell me, students? Can you quickly tell me, students? So it's going to be 41% is the difference, right? Students, can I ask you a question? 41% difference in price range. Is that a decision-making factor? 41% is a big amount to make a decision or a small amount to make a decision? What do you think, students? Is 41% a big amount to make a decision or a small amount to make a decision? That is my point of view, students. So it's a big amount, right? 41% is a bigger amount to make a decision. 2.5% to 5% difference is somewhat okay, but 41% is a big difference. So your data analytics should always be properly, I can say, filtered. I'm using the term filtered because students, you need to target the right person. Hush puppies going to medium range will not give you any worth of spending money on, I can say, digital platform. You need to always target the people who generally go for the premium sector. So students, are you getting some learning outcome of how I made you the skill of analysis? Students, did you get that analysis skill now? If you can understand the analysis, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students? Because see, our discussion became very much into decision making. Slowly, we made it into a decision making sector. So I believe that everyone in the classroom is understanding the decision making factors. Thank you very much, students. 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 So I believe today is an effective day. So students, let's go for a 5 minutes break. I'll take around 7 to 8 minutes, and then let's do the costing analysis. Hello, students. So I'm back to the class. Can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students, if you are there? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, students. Now, students, since we have already completed the costing analysis of the volume, everything, we know that our casual shoe wool product is something with the highest market share. Correct, no, students? So whatever said and done, decision making should always given to this product. Because can you remember, students, we studied theory. Now in theory, students, if you generally see, I will come to that aspect later. So now what we will do next is cost analysis. Cost analysis. Ready, everyone? Yes, we can start doing this cost analysis. It's not a difficult one. It's a very basic application oriented one. Cost analysis. Ready, everyone? So let's start working on this. It's not a difficult one. So in the cost analysis, what we can do is a basic application. It's not a difficulty there. So here, what has given is they have given the total cost. So if you see heel shoes are having the highest cost at all. The main reason is, students, heel shoes are high performance based shoes. Because when you're hiking in the hill, there are situations if the shoe is not so good, in case if the heel breaks, something like that, it will definitely affect, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Yes or no? So cost analysis, what we will do now, let's do an analysis of this. So it's not a difficult one, students. It's a basic one. What I can do is I can have the 4 aspects there. So it's very easy for you to get the understanding of this. So first thing I'll do is raw material. What I'm going to do now, students, raw material. Now raw material, and then I will finish it. Then we have the direct labor, direct labor. Then we have something called variable production overhead. Then what we have is fixed production overhead. And then, students, what we have is the total. So everyone is clear with that. So we are going to compare total 100%. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we are just going to take the total 100%. And then what we are going to do is, students, we are going to evaluate the ranges for that total 100%. So just a minute. So here I will write it down. Very simple. That is wool. And then we have the wood. Then we have the hill. And then we have the flat. So if you observe here, what I can do is one range is casual range. Keep in mind. Then the other range, what we have is something called the performance range. Again, get that point of view so that the application of your sector will be more concisely applied. So one is casual shoes and the other one is the performance based shoes. So students, let's start doing the application of this. So 17.65 divided by 39.32, and that you multiply it by 100. So it's going to down in the vertical line. Earlier it was horizontal, now it's vertical. So students, if you do not mind, shall we start doing the application of this? It's very simple. So please do tell me, students, please do tell me, how are we going to work on this? So what is the answer that you are getting? Raw material contribution out of the total is coming at how much, students? It's coming at the range of 45. Thank you very much, students. So I'll specifically mention it is 45%. And then, students, coming to the next one, the direct labor. Now, the direct labor, if you do a basic analysis wise aspect here, the direct labor, what can you observe here? It's not so complicated, students. It's very easy. So the direct labor contribution is how much? If you do not mind, can you please tell me the direct labor contribution in this specific case is coming at how much, students? How many percentage is that? I think at the moment it's effectively ranging at 25%, if I'm not mistaken, of the overall cost. Yes. Can we do it for the variable production overhead as well? So how much is the variable production overhead contributes in this range, students? How much does the variable production overhead contributes in this range? Waiting for your response, students. Waiting for your solid response. Please, can you tell me how much does that contributes? 6%. Excellent. So I will put that. And fixed production overhead, students, can you please tell me fixed production overhead? Of course, it should be somewhere around 24%. So students, can you please confirm me whether you are fine with the calculations? So we have got the analysis first. Let's do the calculations of the other one, and then let's do the discussion as well. So students, in this case, let's start doing it. It's not so complicated, students. It's very easy. So 19.45, if I am not mistaken, I need to divide it by 42.33. And then I need to multiply that by 100. So students, if you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the answer that you will be eligible to get here? So I think the answer that you will be eligible to get here is 46%, if I am not mistaken. So can you do the same calculation for the next one as well? Can you do the same contribution for the next one as well, please? So the next one as well is 25%, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll write down 25%. Then the variable production overhead, students. If you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the variable production overhead contribution in this case? It is again a 6% contribution. So I will write down here 6% contribution. And the fixed production overhead contribution should effectively be 24%, if I'm not mistaken. Can you please confirm me whether is it correct, students? Whether is it correct? Is it coming at 24%? Yes, it's coming at 24%. So that's very clear and easy. So students, let's come to the next one of Hill. So students, Hill, if you do not mind, can you do the calculation and tell me how much does the raw material of the total 100% contributes, if you do not mind, so that we get the application of this. So in this case, it's going to give you somewhere around 46%, if I'm not mistaken. Excellent. So similarly, students, let's do it for the direct labor as well. Can you start working on the direct labor as well, students, if you do not mind? Yes, so the direct labor is 26%, if I'm not mistaken. The direct labor is 26%. Students, can you do it for the variable production overhead as well? So how much is the variable production overhead is generally coming at the moment? It is at 6%, if I'm not mistaken. It's at 6%. And the fixed production overhead is somewhere around 23%, if I'm not mistaken. A slight difference may be there. Excellent. Students, can we do it for the flat products also? Flat products also. If you do not mind, can we do it for the flat products also as well? So let's see what's happening there, students. For the flat products, again, it is 46%, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll write it down here, 46%. Then the direct labor contribution, if you do not mind, can you please tell me how much should it be, students? How much should it be, students? That is 25%, I can specifically say. I'll write down here 25%. And if you do not mind, can you please tell me the next one, variable production overhead? Variable production overhead, if you do not mind, that is coming at the range of 6%. Wonderful. Thank you very much, students. And can you please tell me what is the fixed production overhead contribution, please? Fixed production overhead contribution, please, if you do not mind. So that will effectively come at the range of 23%, 23%, 23%, 23%. So if you do not mind, students, when we do the application here, it is effectively resulting at the range of how much, students? It is effectively resulting at the range of how much, students? 100%. It is resulting at the range of 100%. It is resulting at the range of 100%. Is it resulting at the range of 100%? So any questions you do have, you can ask me, students. If you're fine with that, students, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? If you're fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very
Excuse
much.
me, sir.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, sir. The total of casual wood is not 100%. It is 101.
No problem. So what we can do is, can we make an own figure adjustment? So I believe somewhere we would have done a rounding off error. We can put it somewhere around 45. So
Sir, I calculated it. The last one is 23, I guess.
oh, I will do that. Thank you very much. So let's update that as well. So thank you very much, students. Now, students, now I have a question for the entire class. Now, if you observe this analysis, what I can say is, I can come back here, students, for the policies. Can you remember the policies? What they clearly mentioned was, that is, it was clearly mentioned one profit, that is traditional OAR method. So they are just taking it in a common basis. That is the reason, students, do you see the variable production overhead looks the same? The raw material almost the same. The direct labor almost the same. The fixed production almost the same. So students, they are not doing ABC. You get what I'm saying? So if they go for ABC, so what I will do is, I will just merge this and I'll write down here learning outcome. So I'll write down here, students, learning outcome, learning outcome, learning outcome. If the company prefers to go, if the company prefers to go on ABC method, then there can be situation where the company will be able make more efficient resource allocation. Students, get that point of view, students. Most efficient resource allocation. Students, if you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? If you are fine with that, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Any questions you have, you can ask me, students. But if you are fine with all these things, can I get a double Y in the chat box, so that you will get the understanding, students, that raw material is 46 to 45%. Can you tell me what are our raw materials? Can you quickly type in the chat box so you can use the mic? One is yarn. We have yarn, no, students. Yarn is one of our raw material. We have 3 raw materials. Can you tell me, students? Yarn, we have other 2. Students, you are management factory accountants. Factory accountants, please tell me what are the other 2 ranges. I'm waiting for your answers, students. Please, if you do not mind, can you tell me what are the other 2 ranges? One is sugarcane composite. No, I don't think so. Sugarcane yarn is made out of sugarcane composite, if I'm not mistaken, students. Yarn and natural rubber. Let's go with this, students. Yarn, natural rubber, and sugarcane composite. Sorry, you are correct. Sugarcane composite. Sugarcane composite. So students, get that application very well. Yarn, natural rubber. We have a natural rubber and sugarcane composite in total. So this is the effective application of this. And students, since this, can there be a shortage, students? Can our suppliers create a shortage? Can there be a problem with our suppliers? Highly testable. So can you make a point of view there, students? Yes or no? So remember the term yarn, natural rubber, and sugarcane composite. So these are very, very important, students. And just remember, the suppliers are very limited. Some we have only 1 supplier. For some we have 2 to 3 suppliers. So just get that understanding, students. So any questions you have in the costing analysis, you can ask me, students. So we are successfully done with this. So before we go into the cost volume profit analysis, we can go for a 5 minutes break, students. So you can go for a 5 minutes break and fresh up your mind. So now we are going to do for the cost volume profit analysis. Hello students, so I am back to the class. So if you can hear my voice, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much. So students, now I believe let's go on to the cost volume profit analysis. It's very easy, students. So let's do contribution analysis. Contribution analysis. So let's do the breakdown first. That is critically important. Let's do the breakdown first. So what we need to do is we need to split it into the following ranges. so that it gives you the application of the things as much as possible. So what I will do is I'll write down here, merge it, and I'll put here as casual. That is very simple. And then I will also write down here as performance. I'll write down here as performance. Then I'll write down here as wool, and I'll write down here as wood. I'll write down here as hill. I'll write down here as flat. And here what I will do, I'll merge it and I will put as details so that it is even more easier for you to understand. So students, selling price. So let's work on this. So if you do not mind, students, we are able to identify the selling price very easily. So if you see students, how can we identify the selling price? Here, average selling price, 85, 85, 120, 120, and the difference is 41%. Price difference is 41%. Then we have something called the variable cost. The variable cost. So students, if you see the variable cost, the total we can take 39.32, and here it's going to be 42.33. Here it's going to be 53, and here it's going to be 49.39. So this is the variable cost at the moment. Then students, we have something called contribution. So students, if you observe, can you tell me the contribution? That is the selling price minus the total variable cost. Total variable cost. Students, what is the contribution you are generally generating here, students? Just waiting for your understanding, students. What is the contribution that you are making here? If you do not mind, can you please tell me, students, what is the contribution? So the contribution here is effectively 45.68. So let's work on and finish it, the other one. 45.68. Wood. What is the contribution for wood, students? What is the contribution for wood? Wood contribution is how much, students? Waiting for your response. What is the contribution of wood? Can someone tell me, students? So the contribution of the wood is 42.67. So I'll write down here 42.67. And what is the contribution of hill? What is the contribution of hill? So the contribution of hill is 67. Excellent. So I'll write that down. And students, what is the contribution of flat? What is the contribution of flat? If you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the contribution of flat? Contribution of flat? Is it somewhere closer to 70.61? Yes. Now, my question to the entire class, according to theory, can you remember in limiting factor theory? So I'll write down here a theory. You know the theory, limiting factor analysis. Now in limiting factor analysis, students, what does the theory states? The theory states a simple logic. That is, students, you need to always rank. You need to always rank the product with the highest, what, students? Highest contribution. Do you agree with me, students? Yes or no? You need to always rank the product with the highest contribution. So according to the theory, students, the highest contribution is 70.61. Do you agree with that, students? Yes or no? The theory clearly states the highest contribution is 70.61. Agree, no, students? Yes or no? Yeah. But in business sense, can you tell me, business wise, is that a correct decision? Business wise, is that a correct decision? Is that a correct decision? Is that a correct decision? Business wise, students, I am asking for that. Business wise, is that a correct decision? Waiting for your response, students. But do you think, students, business wise, do you think, will that give a correct answer? If you do not mind, Can you please respond, students? So no, it's no. So business wise, can you tell me what should be the correct product that we need to consider? So can you please tell me in the business decision wise, what should be the correct product we need to consider? If you do not mind, can you tell me, students? I'm waiting for your response. So the correct product that we need to consider is the wool. Agree? It's the casual wool, because the demand is very high and the contribution volume wise is very high. Demand and the volume is high for wool. So let's take casual wool in business decision. In business decision. Students, are you fine with that, students? Yes or no? Is that clear for you, students? I believe that is very clear for you. So thank you very much in that point of view. Thank you, students. Thank you very much. So I believe how decision-making skills are coming with the number analysis, because one day when you are working in a company, the digital system will do these numbers for you. But you should be making decision out of the theory. That means we say thinking outside the box, they generally say. So thinking outside the box is the aspect here, students. So I believe that has given a better insight for you. So students, let's do a small calculation. So once again, I'll just prepare a small table as you already know. So the table goes like this. So just a minute. Merge casual. Then we have to merge it. Then comes the performance. So I'll write down here. Performance is going to be the next one. Here it's going to be the following. That is going to be wool. That is going to be wool. That is going to be wood. That's going to be hill and flat. Children, let's start doing something called CS ratio. Students, if you do not mind, can you tell me CS ratio? What is the correct equation? Contribution divided by the selling price, which is 85. So in this case, the CS ratio is 0.54, just for your understanding, students. And let's do it for the wood as well. 42.67, 42.67. I'm going to divide it by the selling price. Once again, it's 85. So the effective answer that I will be getting in this case is 0.5 effectively. So let's do it for the hill as well. That is 67 out of 100, and I think it's 20, because you should be very much knowledgeable as a finance manager, the ranges. So it's going to be 0.56, and flat, if you observe, it is going to be 70.61 divided by the selling price of 120. So it's going to give you 0.68. So students, as per the understanding, CS ratio means like gross profit margin. Contribution like gross profit divided by sales, contribution divided by sales. So CS ratio is similar to what? Gross profit margin. That means your product is generating how much gross profit when you sell the product. Are you clear that point? So if you see, flat is a premium range product. So that is the reason your ranges are little high. Are you getting that understanding? If I'm not mistaken, CS ratio is contribution divided by selling price. And this is how we do the analysis on expectation. If you're fine with that, students, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box so that we can move forward into the detail analysis and explication. We can go forward in the detail analysis and application. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. Now, students, now I believe everything is very clear for you. So we have clearly observed the following, so that the next thing, what we will do is, let's go for the break-even analysis. So let's come for the break-even analysis. Let's calculate the break-even point. But the problem we have is we do not have a fixed cost specifically for a product. Did you observe that, students? The main challenge, I'll write down here. Main challenge is we don't have a fixed cost per particular product. Are you getting that understanding here, students? We are not having a fixed cost for a particular product. Is that fine with that, students? Yes or no? We do not have a fixed cost for a particular product. Therefore, we need to analyze on overall basis. We need to analyze on overall basis. Students, if you get this application, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box, students? Therefore, we need to analyze on overall basis. Students, we need to analyze on what basis? Overall basis. So if you are fine with that, students, I can get a Y from you all. Thank you very much. So students, what I did just for my own figure understanding is very simple, students. I did something called an average contribution per unit. So students, let's calculate average contribution per fixed cost, but we need to check the average contribution. So students, let's calculate the average contribution. It's very simple. How many ranges we have? 4 ranges we have. Contribution, casual, wood, hill, and performance. So we do have 4 ranges. And what we need to specifically do is, students, we should be able to take the total of all these and divide it by 4. We need to take the total of all these. That is 45.68 plus 42.67 plus 67 plus 70.61. Students, if you do not mind, can you tell me what is the total additions of this? Can you specifically tell me, students, what is the total answer for these students? If you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the total answer that you are getting for these students? Any questions you want, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with this, please let me know what is the total answer you are getting here. So the total answer is 225.96. And that I should be able to divide it. I should be able to divide it by 4 products. So students, for average wise, one product, what is the price range you are getting, students? For one product, what is the price range, or the contribution for one product is how much? It is giving you an answer of $56.49. So I will put here, it is $56.49. Students, are you clear with the average contribution, students? Are you clear with the average contribution? I think that is fine for you all. The average contribution factor is fine for you all. So thank you very much. So the next thing, students, what we will do is let's go into the, I can specifically say the average cost. So let's go for the average fixed cost. Let's go for the average fixed cost. Now, students, I will take the percent of profit or loss. So we have the following things: selling and distribution. We don't know, but my assumption, this is my own assumption, students, my own assumption, you can be correct. I'm not saying I am perfectly correct. I'm just developing a hypothesis. So that you will be more easier to understand. So the first thing what I want to do is selling, distribution, and marketing cost. Selling, distribution, and marketing cost. Students, 23,053 plus 21,585 divided by 2. Why it's 2 years? Can you please tell me what is the average price of selling and distribution marketing cost in the periods between the information given? Can you please tell me, students, what is the answer that you are able to get? What is the answer that you are able to get, students? If you do not mind, can you please tell me, students, what is the answer that you are able to get? Students, I'm waiting for your response. Can you quickly tell me what is the answer? So is it giving you an answer of 33,845? I don't think so, students. It can't be 33 for sure. 2353 plus 21,585. And you need to get the answer, students. So it is giving you 22,319. That is the correct answer. $22,319. Children, let's do the administration cost. So I will write down here, students, administration cost. Administration cost. So it's not so complicated. It is very simple. So can you follow the same logic? So I will do it for you so that it will be even more easier for you to do the number crunching. 6,100 plus 5,440. I need to divide it by 2 years. So effectively, students, can you please tell me what is the answer that you are getting? You are getting an answer of 5,770. 5,770. So students, the next thing what we need to do is let's focus on the other cost, that is the finance cost. Now finance cost is easy to calculate because there is no changes, but I will do it for you. 390 plus 390 divided by 2, effectively that should only give you 390, students. So students, if you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the total average cost? Total average cost. Students, please tell me what is the total average cost in this. If you do not mind, can you please tell me what is the total average cost that you are getting here, students? Very, very important. You take the addition of the averages of the 3 ranges, you will be able to get the total average cost. Students, what is the answer you are getting? Are you getting an answer of 28,479? Yes. So I will write down here, students, 28,479. It is the average cost. Before moving forward, students, any questions you do have, you can ask me. If you are fine with that, students, you can quickly put a Y in the chat box. We can move forward with the next explanations as well. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. So we know the average contribution, we know the average fixed cost. So can we calculate the break-even point? Yes, break-even point is possible to calculate. That is the total fixed cost, okay, divided by what, students? The total, or I can say contribution per unit. So we are eligible to get some average figures. So I'm telling you, this is not a perfect answer, but this gives you a proper direction of thinking. So 28,479 divided by, I can say 56.49. Can you please tell me, students, what is the answer that you should be able to get in this case? 28,479 divided by 56.49. What should be the correct answer to be get in this space? I think its correct answer is 504 units, if I'm not mistaken. So it is giving you somewhat around 504 units. I'll write down here, students, 504 units. If you can sell, you can actually make a break even. That's the point of view, students, because one thing is we don't know whether the factory is owned factory. We don't know. So can we write down some questions? Students, did they mention anything related to factory being owned or rented? Factory owned or rented, students? Can you please tell me? Anyone? If I make a mistake, correct me. I am also a human being. So factory owned or rented, can you please tell me, students? I'm waiting for your response, students. Factory owned or rented? Factory owned or rented? Waiting for your point of view, students. Is the factory owned or rented? Waiting for your answers. Waiting for your answers, students. Any point of view you can suggest. Any point of view you can suggest. Waiting for your answers. Students waiting for your answers. Any point of view you can suggest. I don't think so there is any information. Correct me if I'm wrong, students. Students, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see no information. I did not get any information there, students. I am correct with that, I think so. Thank you, children. So I'll mention here, no information, no information, no information, no information, no information, no information. Students, before moving forward, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you're fine with this, can I again get a Y in the chat box, students? If you're fine with this, can I quickly get a Y in the chat box? Excellent. So if you observe, students, we are doing on an average basis. So one thing, students, let's go through the total production volume. So if you see the sales volume, let's think that is the production volume. So if you see 774,000 units, you are manufacturing for how many product ranges, students? 4 product ranges. Do you agree with me, students? Yes. So 774,000 divided by 4. Can you please tell me, students, what should be the average volume? Students, if you do not mind, what is the average volume, if you do not mind? So the correct answer in the average volume is 193,500. So I will write down here, students, 193,500. So average volume is 193,500. So can we calculate margin of safety, students? Margin of safety, is it possible? Yes or no? Can I quickly get an answer? Margin of safety, is it possible or not possible, students? Margin of safety, possible or not possible? Yes or no? Yeah, it's possible. We can take the total average volume, minus the break-even point, So students, if you do not mind, can you please tell me how the application will go out here? 193,500 minus the break-even point, which is 504 units. So effectively, students, how much will be the answer? It's going to give you 192,996. Yes or no? Yeah. So effectively, students, based on the average figures, I can say we are very fast growing company, and also we are having a good control of our manufacturing basis as well. Even if a pandemic attacks us, we can survive. Even if a pandemic attacks us, we can survive. That is the point of view here, students. So any other questions you like to ask, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with this illustrative way of learning, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box, students, so that we can come into more discussion-based learning. Thank you, students. Thank you very much, students. More discussion-based learning. So students, the next thing what I wanted to say here, it's not so difficult. It's just a basic understanding. So what we have done here is it's fixed overhead taken. So when fixed overhead is taken into consideration per unit, we say this as the above calculation is absorption costing. What costing, students? Absorption costing. Why? Because we take fixed cost, fixed production overhead as a unit cost, But there is another area called marginal costing. In marginal costing, students, fixed production overhead is considered as period cost. Is considered as what cost, students? Is considered as period cost. Is considered as period cost. So in that perspective, we take out this fixed production overhead. So anyway, what will happen? Contribution will be little higher. Agree, no, students? Contribution will be higher. Break-even point will be even better. So the period cost is treated. It's treated as period cost. Period cost means like rent. Rent is annual rent, right? If I'm not mistaken, monthly rent. Correct, no, students? We don't take rent per student. Now, if you see at GLA, they have their own premises, but there can be situations like rent per students like that. So that is the basic ideology here, students. Now, students, before moving forward, let's go for a question and answer session. Students, any question and answers you like to share? Students, any question and answers you like to share? You can share it with me. If you are fine with the session for today, you can please put a double Y in the chat box, students. Because I think today we had a extremely business-based session, students. We are learning business. We need to think in a very, very sustainable manner. And business is not easy, students. Business is a never-ending war, which will never be giving peace. Look at companies like Coca-Cola. Everyday marketing. Every day they are not doing. So you can't stop. When you're doing business, you should continue. So students, I will share you a small feedback form in WhatsApp group. Just 2 questions. You just need to click the right answer. You complete it just within, I can say, 10 minutes. Okay, just a 10 minutes, just 1 question only about the class feedback. Only original feedback you can say. Okay, and students, if you are not feeling good, you must direct message me and tell it to me. Again, I'm telling, education comes within. We can't force people to learn. We can't force people to eat. We can't force people to be happy. Everything is internally generated. So you should make sure, students, you create your environment happy and comfortable. And one more thing, students, tomorrow class timetable will change. Tomorrow onwards, class will be starting at 3:30 p.m. students. And students, I am working. That's the reason work has started in Colombo. So I can't come at 3 o'clock. That is the issue. Due to traffic, sometimes I may be at 3:45 p.m. But students, you be ready by 3:30 p.m. for sure, so that I will be able to come and do it. So it is going to be 3:30 to 5 p.m. But students, you don't worry. When you come back to school and get settled, we will have additional hours also based on your request. That means after you go home also, we can have a session after 6 o'clock, which will be communicated to you as well. Students, if you had understood this message clearly, can I quickly get a double Y in the chat box? Thank you very much, students, for your cooperation. So have a wonderful evening, students. Stay safe from this COVID, and God bless you all. Take care, students. Good evening, students. Bye, students.